I'm not going to dive into each and every one of the modules because that's going to be a ridiculously long video. I'm not being hyperbolic with the title. This is a delay that everyone needs. Hello there, dear viewer. Now I'm on my way in. I just need to grab something. Let's see here. Can I grab both? Nah. I'll just take one at a time so I can do the intro at the same time. Hello and welcome to haQ. My name is Jakob. I'm your host and you're watching a haQ episode. In this episode, we're gonna have a look at Klevgren Produktion's latest application called Modley. It's a modular delay, meaning you can pretty much construct your own delays in any way, shape or form using the modules within this awesome app. I haven't had this app for a very long time, but I've been able to dive into it for a few hours. And after those hours, I realized that this app is most likely going to end up on one of my top lists for 2019 because it is that awesome. Small, portable. Yeah, I know, I'm a trolling tease. Now, the title of this video is Modley, the delay everyone needs. And it's not me being hyperbolic. I truly mean that. With a delay like this one, a modular delay with so many different modules in it and so many ways of actually routing those modules, well, the types of delays that you can build, well, you're only limited by your own imagination. You know, it's apps like this one that raises the question, would you really need any other delay after you've gotten this one? Because you can pretty much build any type of delay that you want. So why buy any other delays? Well, for me, it always comes down to the overall sound of an app or a synth or whatever, and also the way you interact with it. I mean, if you have a delay with more dedicated functions and controls, you always know exactly where everything is. Where you have something like this, you have a multitude of controls. Controlling this on iOS, you actually have to switch through the different racks if you want to do some changes. I mean, there are both disadvantages and advantages with using something like this or using something like a more dedicated delay doing that one thing with that one set of knobs. So would you need any other delays after getting this one? Basically, no, you wouldn't need any other delays, but as I said, the way you interact with something can drastically change the way you use it and the way you build your projects. And the overall sound of something, I mean, that's important too. You might have your own distinct sound, and maybe the sound of one thing doesn't suit your sound. I think you get my drift. You know, summer has come to Sweden, and I am not liking it one bit. It's getting hotter in here. You can build multi-tap delays, stereo delays, tape delays. If you want to create one of those dub delays where you have a delay tail that just shoots out, distorts all over the place and loops back on itself, well, you can intentionally distort the delay tail even further with a distortion unit, and you simply position it in the loop rack chain. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one of my old school tutorials. I'm gonna walk you through the interface and how this thing works, how the audio is being routed through it, and the functionalities of it. Now, Modley is an audio unit extension, meaning you have to use it within a host that supports audio unit extensions, so it doesn't have any connections to interrupt audio. So I'm gonna go over the interface and how you use it, but I won't be going through each and every one of the modules you can use. I think you'll have much more fun discovering what this thing can do for you by yourself. Right, so Modley is a delay, and you do have a main delay effect, and you can find it down here. But before we delve into this, I want to show you something about the presets. In every audio unit extension host, you usually have a preset browser manager. And in AUM, we can open up the plugin preset browser by pressing up here in the upper left corner. And right now you can see it's empty, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any presets. No, you just have to open up the internal preset file manager, which is located down here where it says preset. And there are plenty of presets for you to go through in order to see what this thing can do. But I still urge you to try this out yourself from a clean slate. Right, so let's have a look at the main delay section, and it can be found down here. Here we can find the usual controls such as delay time, a sync on-off function, and a feedback control. The delay tail can also be modulated to give it a kind of a pitch swaying tape delay type of sound. Now, this delay module also has a freeze function with two modes. So the freeze function does exactly what it says. It freezes the delay and keeps it there, which is a very cool effect. I love that. However, the different modes will make this work in two completely different ways. You see, in post mode, the freezed signal bypasses the rack chain with all of the modules in it. And in pre-mode, it works the other way around, so the freezed signal is being fed through the loop rack chain. Now, the guys over at Klevgren Produktion, aka Klevger, they have done some thinking, because they put a limiter on the output. You see, with something as modular as this, with a loop rack chain in it, well, it has the ability to create some serious feedback loops. And so you might want to have that limiter there just to keep everything under control. And so that's the main delay, and this one will always be present. You will always hear this thing no matter what you do in the rack chains. And the rack chains, now this is where stuff starts getting really interesting. This plugin is available for both desktop and laptop systems, including iOS. And obviously, I'm running iOS right here. The only difference between the two versions are the way that they look. You see, on desktop and laptop, you have all of the rack chains visible at all times. However, on iOS, you only see one rack chain at a time, and you switch between them with this thing here on the right. So right now we can see the pre-rack chain, and if we press this button down here, we can see the loop chain, and then we can see the post chain. Now in these racks, well, here is where we load all of the different types of modules that you have available inside Modley. The way that you load them is by pressing this, what they call a hamburger button. It's these three lines over here. When we press them, we can see that we have multiple effects, where the first option, empty, is basically just an empty module or a bypass effect. So among the modules that we can use to build up our own custom delay, we have a palette panner, delay, chorus, flanger, phaser, reverb, vibrato, tremolo, equalizer, compressor, booster, distortion, multiband, gate, pitcher, tape saturation, and filter. Woo! Nailed it! Yes. There are so many options in here. So if we want to load up a compressor, we simply tap it and it's loaded. And we're going to load up one other module because I want to show you how easy it is to move stuff around. So we're going to load a chorus in the next slot. Now let's say we changed our minds. We actually want the chorus to go through the compressor and not the other way around. Well, there are two ways of doing it. You can of course go into the plugin file system again and just choose the right modules in the right spots. Or you could just tap down and hold, aka long press, and move it to the spot where you want to have it. One of the benefits of having a truly modular delay. And this will of course drastically change your sound depending on what type of modules you have loaded in there. Now the audio is being fed into the racks from the left, and then it exits on the right. And believe it or not, even though this is a modular delay, we just went through the basics of the whole thing. That's all you need to know to get started. I think that Klevgren Produktion, aka Klevger, has really outdone themselves with this one. And I do hope that we get to see more of these modular types of effect plugins from them in the future. Now, I do want to add, however, that since this is a very intricate type of delay and you can build so many things out of it and you can load many modules, it is very processor hungry. It will eat up resources for you. So if you think that you can load up 4 or 5 of these at once, since they are audio unit plugins and all of them having full setups of modules, then you'll probably hit your limit on your device very quickly. Okay, so the amount of processes that an app needs in order to run is important, especially if you're building something like a live setup where you want to work something live. If you have too many heavy apps, then your project might not work as you intended to. You might have some audio glitches and then you're better off with something that might be less heavy than Modley over here. However, you might also be an owner of a very, very new, very powerful iPad, and maybe that isn't really an issue for you. You have all the processes you need to run the projects you want without getting any glitches and stuff. But stuff like this is worth thinking about when you're building live sets. It's one thing the way you use stuff in your studio when you produce things and when you bounce things and when you basically record things. But when you're doing stuff live, you need your rig to be stable. So keep that in mind while you're working with Modley. Now, the amounts of instances of Modley you can actually run will of course differ between iDevice modules. An iPad Pro from 2017 is of course more powerful than an iPad Air 1. I'll admit that I haven't actually tested out how many instances of this thing that can run at the same time on my devices, and if I do such a test, I'll most likely put up a very short video up on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter. So make sure you follow me on those platforms, or at least one of them, and if you're gonna choose one, I do prefer it when you follow me on Instagram. I like that platform the best. And if you're following me there, or if you're on Instagram and you put up app jams or hardware jams, if you put up pictures of musical stuff you do on the road, or whenever you buy a new piece of equipment for your studio, whether it's an app or something, and you want to tell the world, just tag me, tag haQ. Remember, the Q's are big, always, or use my name. And my name is always spelled with a K, not a C. I want to thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, then why not do me and this channel a favor by telling YouTube that my content is good. And you do that by clicking in the thumbs up and also subscribing to my channel. And if you subscribe to my channel, pressing that little bell thing so you get optimized, so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. As I've already said, follow me on Instagram and stuff like that. If you want to check out my music, you can check out my Bandcamp. I also have the latest album I did, my mellow music album, my mellow album. It's on every kind of listening thing that you might want. You want to listen to it on Spotify, it's right there. You want to buy it on Apple Music, it's right there. If you go to jakobhaq.com and then go into the music page, you'll be able to find the documentary I did about making the project or making the album. And you can also find links to all of the places where you can find my album for purchase or streaming. If you want to support me financially in any other way, then you have Patreon over here, you have PayPal over there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. All comments and ratings are very much appreciated. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it. Now I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna walk away because I want the last thing to... Okay, even if I leave this room just to make the ending look interesting, I'm still gonna end up going back in here and placing this over here like that. I always do that. I'm gonna remove the iPad like this. Yeah, and then I pretty much just put out the lights over here, you know. I mean, my bedroom is my studio, so it's not like I'm gonna leave and do something awesome. I'm just gonna sit here for hours and edit all of this material. So yeah, let's just turn off the lights over here and over here and over here. And this is how dark it gets when the lights are all off. This is really what my room looks like. I can still see in here, but I guess you can't.